check 1 2 1 2.
Check 1 2 3 4. David Bowie, check.
David Bowie, check. And he's checked.
All right.
Hi, I'm Sarah Evans, born and raised in Peterborough, Ontario. I'm very proud to call this great community home. Contact me today and I can promise to exceed your expectations. 705-768-6278 or visit sarahevans.ca.
Not intended to solicit those currently under contract.
We go. Welcome to another episode of The Tiffany Show. Your host, Tiffany Arcari, beautiful downtown PTBO at Euphoria Wellness Spa Canoe Cafe. The Tiffany Show on Cogeco, your TV, Peterborough, Lindsay. I highly recommend you subscribe. And The Tiffany Show is also on Cogeco on demand. So pretty pumped about it. You can just live stream it from your Cogeco services. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of The Tiffany Show. I brought in a gentleman that has a soft spot in my heart. We used to bump into each other all the time, different events around town, grand openings, business events, you name it. He's a big sports fan, heavily involved in the sports community in Peterborough. Welcome to the show, David Bowie, PTBO Canada. Slide on in. That was an excellent entrance.
Ooh, I love making a great one.
Yes.
I just came from a Peterborough Pete's press conference, and then I just made my way here, so the scheduling worked out.
Beautiful.
Happy to be a returning guest here again, so love being back.
I was actually just watching our Father's Day episode during the power outage because my laptop had power, and so I have a whole bunch of old episodes on it, so I was watching the Father's Day one again with you.
Keep entertained during that time.
Yeah, totally. I also almost wore my Pete's shirt today for you.
Could have been close.
I know, I should have worn it.
Maybe I should have worn mine too. I could have had my jersey
I know, but
as
you
well.
got the PTBO
It's true.
Canada, right? Shout out to the PTBO Canada crew, Curtis and everybody over there. We absolutely love you.
Yeah, so this past March 1st was actually my 4-year anniversary with
Happy
PTBO Canada, so
anniversary!
that's a big deal. And
You're no stranger to the hot seat, but usually
No.
you're in my seat.
I know,
for
right?
PTBO Canada. Yeah.
I know. Usually, I'm the one who is doing like interviews daily, and now I'm on the other side of things. So it's kind of a nice, refreshing change of pace for me.
Talk about yourself now.
I know, right? People
Yeah.
get to hear about my life and everything.
That's what we wanted. I know you're a big foodie.
Yes.
You and I
absolutely.
share that passion.
Of course.
You know, one day, PTBO Canada and the Tiffany Show should collab, and we should do something at like Muddy's Barbecue Pit out in Keene. David, let's start. Why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself? What are your likes, your dislikes, maybe some special talents, foods that you love, a secret nobody knows about you?
Oh boy. Well, first of all, I'm a hometown boy. The oldies like me will know PRHC, formerly known as Civic Hospital, so where I was born.
You were born here?
Yep,
I
I'm born and raised here. Yeah,
hometown
absolutely,
boy.
yep.
Oh, I guess it makes sense because you do the hometown.
Yep, hometown boy, hometown reporting, everything. Yeah,
I
so
love-
it's great to know that I get to report and talk about my own community here as my job. So it's great to have that happen.
Did you want to do this when you were a little kid?
You know, the funny thing was that I originally entered Trent University. I'm a philosophy major, and I was originally trying to get into law, funny enough.
Really?
Yeah, that was the original plan, but eventually I got brought into journalism. It's kind of like the very, very quick, like Cliff Notes version of how that came to be. But I will say that journalism was kind of like my backup plan.
Okay.
And so after I graduated from school, I had this little thought, this little quote in my head, and I told myself, find what's your greatest asset, and have that make your money. And my greatest weapon is my voice.
Yeah. Oh,
My voice. My voice, my presence, like the charisma that I have, that's my greatest weapon. So that's what I try to do to use it. So like if I either go for radio, for TV, or broadcast journalism, anything like that, or also knows me as a sports broadcaster as well, that's my like one defining trait that I have. So use that to make my money. And
I feel you.
that's a word of advice for everybody out there. That's what I tell my friends, is like who are kind of like in the ditch a little bit. They're trying to find their way. I'm like, what's the best thing about you? And use that.
Play
use
on
that
your
to your
assets
advantage.
and lean into it.
Yeah.
It makes you happy too, right?
Oh, it
So
does.
you're doing what you
exactly.
love.
And this is exactly kind of what I signed up for. I signed up to be a journalist, and then that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Your heart's work.
Yeah, exactly. So for people who don't know me, I like to call myself a half jock and a half geek.
Okay.
So I can play both sides.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
So like I'm a big sports fan. I love playing sports. I grew up playing sports all my life. I played a lot of basketball. Baseball is
cool.
one of my biggest one.
Really?
Freestyle wrestling also a big one. I did some rugby as well. So there's plenty of sports that I play. Right now to this day I still play. I play slow pitch right now. Heck of a shortstop. I'm a short guy, but that doesn't stop me at all. That doesn't stop me at all. And then on the other side of the coin, I also call myself a big geek as well. So like I love games. So I love like video games, I love board games, card games, anything you name it. So I can tap into that my little geeky side, no push up the glasses kind of thing. And I love playing games.
Is it true that you were like a big Yu-Gi-Oh competitor?
Oh yeah, and even to this day, so yeah, I play the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game, and I'm a very competitive player. During the earlier years of my life, I was actually a top 10 player in Ontario.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm a very competitive player, and it's funny, after I'm done this interview, I'm on my way to compete in a tournament in Newmarket after this as well. So
no
yeah.
way.
Yep. So
okay, can I ask you?
Yeah,
Is
go
it
ahead.
kind of like poker where you can make money at doing these competitions?
So-
Is that a rude question? I hope.
No, absolutely not. So in this particular game, I can't make money directly,
Right.
But the stuff and product that I could win, I can turn it around and sell it and make money. So
okay.
indirectly, it can make me money. Funny enough, I won a tournament last month. And the prizing that I used, I sold it, and I used it to buy my daughter a wagon.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
because I'm playing a lot of
gosh.
baseball this year, so now and now that she can walk, I'm going
Dad.
to take her around and wheel her around, and she can watch me play baseball in the wagon. So
You're so
yeah.
sweet.
So anything I do now, it's for my missus and for my daughter at this point out. So if I'm playing, I'm thinking of them. I'm like, I'm playing for them. I'm playing for them. They're my big motivation right now.
You're super, family oriented.
Right,
eh?
absolutely
Yeah.
it is. Like I wanted a family in my 30s, and that's exactly what I got. So the timing couldn't be more perfect for myself. My plan was have a baby when I'm in my 30s, settle down with a lady, which I do. My lovely soulmate Autumn. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you,
Yep,
Autumn.
7 years now. 7 years going on
lucky
8.
number 7.
I know, right? So yeah, they're my life right now, and I've been a father for 21 months, and it's absolutely changed my life, and that's what I'm fighting towards right now. Is those two.
So maybe we could jump into a little bit of your journey. Like, how did you get here today?
I'm a Trent University and Loyalist College graduate. I was part of the Trent Loyalist journalism program, where you could get a university degree and a college diploma at the same time. So it was 7 years of schooling, like compressed into 4. So I graduated in 2019 with a double major in journalism and philosophy, and then I also have an advanced diploma in journalism and communications as well. So and that was a big journey for me. Probably about my 3rd and 4th year, I was doing broadcasting for Loyalist College in Belleville, and then that kind of panned out a little bit for me getting more gigs. I started calling hockey for the Trenton Golden Hawks, because they're like right adjacent to Belleville there, so that wasn't far. And funny enough, I also met Dan Malta at the time when I had to cover for him for one game calling the Coburg Cougars once, because he was out with a leg injury. So
No way!
Yeah, he couldn't appear on. So that's when I met Dan. Funny enough, so funny enough.
Cogeco connection.
Yeah, exactly that. So and now full circle. Now we work together in the media world together.
Cool.
I saw him earlier today as well. So it's just kind of funny how like just whatever you do like a couple years ago just kind of comes back full circle, and it's like just happens again. So you never know what life's going to throw at you.
And you never know what people you're gonna like re-encounter, like be in the space.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
why I'm not a fan of burning bridges, because you never know when it comes back.
Me too.
You never know when that's ever going to come back.
Gotta be
on
kind.
that.
You never
Oh
ever
yeah,
know.
that's me. So after that, since I've graduated, I've gotten to more sports broadcasting as well. So lacrosse is a big sport that I've started broadcasting a lot more of, and it's funny because I know like Peterborough's a big lacrosse town for sure, and it's funny I didn't really have any interest in lacrosse until my second job out of college and university was I was working for an indigenous newspaper called the Eastern Door. It's a big lacrosse tournament there. And they asked me, did you want to do like a radio spot just to color commentary for lacrosse? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Because
I do.
that's what I love to do. While I was there was another lacrosse company doing broadcasting there, and funny enough, I bumped into another Peterborough head there, which we didn't know we were Peterborough at the time. Stephen Stamp, who was a very big like lacrosse figurehead,
yes.
and he recruited me. He's like, hey, like we need some broadcasters. Can you help me out? And I'm like, absolutely I can. And then that started like snowballing into like me broadcasting so many other like lacrosse events as well. Just this past September, I was part of the broadcast team of the World Lacrosse Championships for both the men's and women. So that was a huge honor for me to be a part of that too. Oh, exactly. A lot of fun though.
Worth it.
Absolutely wonderful atmosphere.
A lot of work.
It's amazing to see kind of how my career has kind of developed over the years, and and I'm always learning. You don't stop learning your craft. It doesn't matter. Well, I mean, philosophy means like the love of knowledge. So you don't want to stop learning. Never stop learning. I always try to stay humble. I know a lot of my friends are for fun, they're gonna say, no, Bowie's got a big ego. And I do at some points, but deep down, it's always never stop learning.
Yeah, everyone's got a little bit of an ego.
It's a life lesson my dad had pounded to me when I was young.
Really?
It's like learn from every experience that you're given.
Yeah.
And like he knew that I didn't like whatever he was trying to teach me, but long term, it's like, exactly. Learn from everything that happens to you. There's a lesson to be taught in everything, and never stop. So that was one good thing that my dad taught me. Whether I didn't like it at the time, now I definitely see why he said that.
It's funny when that happens,
right?
I know.
Absolutely. That.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, if you ever felt underestimated, and how did you prove people wrong?
So growing up with a sports background, I was always that short guy, that small guy. So because you get that, you develop that underdog mentality. So you always have that chip on your shoulder, and you always have something to prove to everybody.
Yes.
So that's that mentality I always had. So I always use that as motivation for me to like always be better than what you were before. That's what it is. It's for me. It's never stop improving yourself in some way, shape, or form. Make sure, like I hold myself accountable to that. I want to make sure that if I'm doing well, I want to do well for the rest of the team. I want to make sure my team gets a share in that victory. That whatever I did helps the team like get the victory. Like I like being a team player. I am that guy who is willing to take one for the team for the betterment of everyone else. I am very happy to be the sacrifice for everyone.
Role to play.
Yeah. Everybody has their role.
I can see where just you sharing the underdog story, I can totally see that ambition in your career and even the progression over the last few years too.
So to add to that, funny enough, I tried to go for my basketball team, my elementary school basketball team in grade 7. I got cut from the team because I was labeled too short. So, and I...
Wait, didn't the Charlotte Hornets have a player that
Muggsy
was like
5'2"?
5'2"?
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues, yep.
And I'm not sportsy. Did that just impress you?
So I like it. So I got cut from the team for that, and it's funny because like a lot of like elementary school sports, you really don't get cut for that. So for me, when I was told that I was getting cut, I'm like, that's kind of depressing a little bit there. Then I got moved to Monsignor Donahue, and I was on the basketball team there. I made the team and on the starting lineup, and we won the championship in our first year. So that was kind of like a redemption year for me. It's like, I may be short, but I'm very speedy and I'm very fast.
Yes.
So I know you asked me one little secret or one little thing about me. I'm 37 years old. I can still do a standing backflip.
Do you want to do one right now?
I might have to do one. I can do a standing back. Part of that is because of my wrestling background, because I did professional. So I did amateur freestyle wrestling in high school.
Yeah.
But then also like for a good decade of my adult life, I was also a professional wrestler.
What?
So the TV wrestling that you'd see on TV, I was a professional wrestler. Yeah.
What was your name?
My ring name was Mr. Saki.
Mr. Saki.
So if you've ever seen the Hangover movie series. My character is loosely based off Mr. Chow. So the evil, conniving genius that obviously you don't want to trust him, you don't want to get involved with him.
He's the villain.
But I'm that sneaky villain that's the comic relief, and that's loosely based off.
A professional wrestler
funny
on
enough,
TV.
That was my alter ego for a decade. Yeah.
That is cool. I can't wait till your daughter finds that out when she's a teenager.
I know one other secret, because I know you asked for one more.
Yeah.
I have this, only my missus and maybe like a select few people know this, and I have this really embarrassing baby photo of myself. So I'm in the baby tub,
Yep.
naked as can be. My dad's taking a picture of me, and right when he's about to take the shot, a little yellow geyser decides to pop up, and my dad got that shot. So there's an embarrassing picture of me, like mid-pee as a baby, and my dad has that shot. And that's probably the secret embarrassing thing about me.
88, like you were born in 88?
87.
87.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive camera work on your dad's part.
Yeah,
1987.
give credit to
Oh, that's
at the
funny. That is so funny. So you've talked about your dad before, and I know that he's taught you like a lot of lessons in life, and you brought a lot forward with you into adulthood. But what's one lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
So I'm going to preface this. I'm actually a university dropout twice over.
Really?
So I started Trent University in 2005 because that's when I graduated high school. And in 4 years, I dropped out twice. And one of my big problems was that whether I'm right or wrong, I kept blaming it on other people. I kept blaming other and said, if this would have happened, maybe I could have done better. This would not. Let's assume that's true. However, you still have to do the work. And if you don't do the work, you're not going to do well in school. So in 2015, I decided to go back to school at 27 years of age. And I told myself, all right, Dave, you're paying your own way. Nobody is stopping you this time from doing what you have to do.
Good for you.
So you do whatever it is that you have to do to finish school and get done. And it's a strenuous program, as I told you. It's 7 years of schooling compressed into 4.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was continuing off of whatever credits I had before.
Yeah.
I'm starting from scratch over again. And I told myself, no, you're going to pay your own way. You're not going to ask your parents for any money. And you're going to do this your own way. And that's exactly what I did. I paid my own way through school, and I made Dean's List and everything. I graduated, and I graduated on time. And I'm like, that graduation moment was probably like my big culmination. That was my thing, because I remember my mother she was crying for joy, and I'm like, dang it, because now I'm crying right in the middle of everybody, and we had like a big hug there. So that was my life lesson. It was, you can blame other people as much as you want, but you got to look in the mirror and see that you're the one responsible for everything that happens to you. You're the one responsible for your own success.
Yep.
And no matter how much you blame others, it's still ultimately up to you. So at that point, when I had learned that lesson, it's like, I've just taken everything into my own hands now, and I'm going to hold myself accountable. I don't blame anybody anymore like I used to back when I was in my very, very young adult age. So that was the hard lesson that I had to learn, and I hope that's a lesson a lot of people will learn, whether they learn it the hard way or the easy way. But it's a lesson that people just definitely need to learn.
That radical accountability. You're totally right. Taking accountability for the situation, and then jumping back in and being like, no, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it right, and then you just absolutely crushed.
Yeah, absolutely that.
So, how do you hope to leave an impact on the world? Maybe the impact on the people around you or the world in general?
I have always wanted to leave a positive impact on my community. The community here, I've lived in Peterborough for over 30 years of my life, so the city's been so near and dear to me. And there's something about Peterborough, it's got that charm that I just don't want to leave. It's a big enough city that it has everything, but it's a small town enough where you get to know everybody, and if I just want to grab something very quickly, it's not going to take me like an hour and a half just to get to what I need to do. It'll take me 5-10 minutes just so I can quickly get something and just go back home. So I like that small town feel, being able to know everybody, but yet we have everything. Like, where our arts are so rich here.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Especially like the music industry is like huge here. Entertainment's always big here.
Yep,
So our food is so ethnically diverse here, and with us as foodies,
top tier.
It's great that we can go around to so many different local businesses and eat out. Like,
agreed.
I always make the joke to every time I'm out like in the field, is that I say I don't ever bring lunch to work, because either A, you get fed at a press conference, or B, you're going to an event where there's food there, or you're going to like highlight some local business that just opened up or just celebrated something big, and then and if none of those happen, then I just go out to my office is right downtown. I'll just go right to downtown and just go from a local business and just grab a quick bite to eat. The big shout out to Curry Mantra. That's one of my frequent spots that I go to for sure. Yeah, so that's a big deal. Actually, one of the owner's father who works there, him and I were in the same church together for a good chunk of time, St. Alphonsus
Small
Parish.
world. But I totally agree with you with Peterborough, and I've always said the same thing, where it's not too big and it's not too small. And I grew up in Hamilton, and then when I was 16, my father moved us out to Bancroft, so I also had that like super small towns experience as well. And then when I found myself in Peterborough, this was like the first space and place that I could just truly be myself. And I find like a lot of people have that in common. It's like it's an amazing, I could go on and on. And like even with my big dreams, it's like I will always have my house in Peterborough. Like I don't care where I go in life, in 10 years and 20 years, wherever I am, I will always have a home here in Peterborough.
Oh, absolutely. And even if I don't remain in Peterborough, whatever, it's my home. It's always going to be my home. It's going to be that way. And I hope that if I ever leave or go out, or if I ever pass away, like I always want to make sure that I've left a positive impact, and hopefully some kind of legacy that like people can remember me by, you know.
Me
So
too.
again, like going back to my ego, I do have it.
Everybody
does. I do love
does.
the spotlight. I love being the center of attention. So I'm hoping that if ever like my departure from Peterborough happens, is that, you know, people will remember me, and you know that, like, you know, I made a positive impact on the community. So that's what I really hope to do here for
you absolutely already have, but that will grow, and we'll do some kind of legacy thing. But we're the same age, so we're probably going to go at the same time.
So I'm really glad.
We'll probably be at Rubridge Retirement Center all together. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm really glad that like I work a career that like contributes to the community. I can report on the community and tell everyone what's happening around town.
Yeah, it's awesome. What a great career choice for you. In moments of doubt or adversity, what has kept you pushing forward?
Well, there's a two-part answer to this one. So we'll say for the past 21 months, it's my daughter, and it's my soulmate. It's them. So like as I said before, everything I do from this point forward, it's for them. I don't treat myself anymore, really. The only time I really treat myself is just with food.
Yeah,
and the occasional video game and my Yu-Gi-Oh hobby. That's how I treat myself.
Yeah.
Anything else, if I make that extra money or anything, it's gonna go towards my missus and my daughter, because I want them to have like the best future that they can have. That's what I want. So I work for them.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. They're my bosses.
Yeah.
Every morning I have to wake up beside my boss and then go grab my other boss.
And exactly.
Yeah. So that's who I work for. So that's my motivation for nowadays. Before, all I had to do was just look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And look at myself and say, again, you're responsible for how your future is going to hold.
Yes.
You're responsible for how everything is going to play out. Of course, there are things that could happen and get in the way, but that's life. It's up to you to decide how you're going to respond to that. And of course, there's going to be some hardships that happen. There's going to be some hard lessons that are kind of along the way. Not everything's going to go swimming. Not everything's going to go perfect. But you have to understand that it's up to you to respond and take care of the situation and handle it like in the best way possible. So that's the big motivation, is looking at yourself and making sure you become like the best self that you can possibly be.
Oh my gosh, the nuggets you're dropping in this interview today, David.
That's the philosophy major coming out of me, right?
Yeah, it's just spilling out of you. We're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
I know what the answer to this question is going to be, but what is the best thing about life?
Well, of course, you'll know the answer, of course, which is, of course, it's being able to wake up every day and be with my missus and be with my daughter, for sure. That's definitely the best thing. So
I could cry. I'm honestly, my heart.
Like, I am extremely privileged to be here, because I could have been born in very different circumstances. So I, you know, as people know, I'm Vietnamese, and
I didn't know you were Vietnamese.
Yeah, I'm Vietnamese. Yeah, so my parents, they were boat people. They were part of. My dad was a Vietnam War veteran. He served in the war for 4 years.
Oh my gosh!
And they fled the country after the war had finished. So had my dad not have done that, I could have been born in very different circumstances. Right. I could have been born in Vietnam. And you know, my families aren't the richest, right. So I would probably kind of be living in less than stellar conditions, to say the least. And for my dad to make that gutsy decision to basically sell all of his possessions and take the risk of renting a boat and fleeing the country. So my parents are refugees.
Wow.
They got sponsored by an individual here in Peterborough.
Oh, I have chills.
Yeah. So so he's passed away now. He's passed away for about, I think, a good 5 years now.
I didn't know we shared
But he's
that,
yeah,
buddy.
he sponsored a lot of Filipino and Vietnamese immigrants.
Right.
So that's how there's like
Oh,
an
he
influx
paid it
of that.
forward.
Yeah. So God bless him. So that's how my parents were able to come to Peterborough.
Oh my
Because they were
gosh.
sponsored. So, and of course my family had to fight from like with nothing.
Yeah.
They had to fight from the ground up. So I was born at the point where my parents were just finally getting out of that lower class line and just finally getting out. So I'm very extremely lucky and
my
privileged to be born
goodness.
here rather than born in like Vietnam, where I could have like less than ideal conditions. So the fact that I get to wake up now like with a roof over my head, and I have, the love of my life, my daughter, I have a career that I worked very hard for, that I'm reporting on my hometown city, because reporting jobs in your hometown are few far in between.
Oh, yeah.
You're very lucky to even get that opportunity, because majority of the time you have to go abroad. You have to go somewhere else and report on a town that you haven't done, which I did for a little bit, but it came full circle and I got to come back here and finally report on Peterborough.
Wow.
So being thankful that, the chips fell in my favor and that my hard work paid off, and that I'm here.
I love.
That's the thing that I'm thankful for. It's very easy to say like, oh, I wish I could have this more, I could have this more. I was pounded into my life very early to count your blessings. To be thankful for what you got. So I'm not a very materialistic person as a result, and I'm always, I have no problem like getting gifts for other people and being that
Quality.
doesn't bother me about
me
not receiving gifts as much. Maybe food.
Okay,
food
fair.
might be a great way to
that's
do
our
it.
love
By the way, yeah,
language,
that's a great
100%.
way. So, but other than that, it's just being able to be here and like grow up in Canada and grow up with a full and rich childhood that, I was provided the opportunities to play sports. I got to do well academically on top of that. And, I got to grow up with, two older sisters who like, guided me along the way. And, my dad and my mom, they did as best as they could to really give me like a really full childhood experience here in Canada. And like, they're both very selfless. I mean, my mother, she will never do anything for herself. She is always for the kids. She always, and now she's always for the grandkids.
Of course,
that's what it is too. And that's a part of how I'm kind of modeling myself after my mother, because she's so selfless.
Right?
And
If it wasn't for immigration, I wouldn't be here either. Because my grandparents, like a lot of us, right? It's really neat to have that in common and like learn more about you on that level, buddy.
Exactly.
This has been an episode of The Tiffany Show. Before I let you leave us today, a one-liner message to share with those that are watching. If you could, the floor is yours.
If I had one line,
Best dad advice.
I've said it already and I'll say it again. Never stop being better. Never, ever, ever.
Never stop being better. This has been an episode of The Tiffany Show. David, thank you so much for joining me today. You're such a joy. I love your energy. I love being around you. Be kind, keep going, and all that good stuff.
You're looking to sell your home or cottage? You want to work with someone who knows the market inside and out. Hi, I'm Sarah Evans, born and raised in Peterborough, Ontario. I'm very proud to call this great community home. Contact me today and I can promise to exceed your expectations. 705-768-6278 or visit sarahevans.ca.
Not intended to solicit those currently under contract.